Unmanned Quest is for entertainment and inspiration, not professional advice. We're not liable for your actions. Copyrighted material is used under fair use. See description for full disclaimer. Welcome everybody to my first recap of my first training week. I hope this finds everyone really well. I hope you're all healthy and happy and going after your dreams. What we're starting off with today is a small little explanation of what we're doing for back throughout the year. So we've picked a chest supported row for our only exercise for back. Now James, my coach, has essentially got me doing 10 sets divided into two. So the first 5 working sets are going to be failing or trying to reach failure at 5 reps. So you pick a weight according to that failure that you want to hit. So this is my first session, so it was kind of learning my limitations and not pushing myself too hard, but also not leaving heaps in the tank. It's always going to be a bit strange when you start something like that. So on my first set, as you can see, we were doing 5 reps at 30 kilos. We're concentrating when you go down a 4-second tempo. When you hit the bottom, it's not a long pause and it's straight back up, accompanied by another 4-second tempo down. Now, we do that for 5 repetitions, and then we have roughly a minute 30 to 2 minute rest in between. I actually increased the weight to 35 kilos for my second set, and then on my third set, I increased the weight again by 5 kilos, so it brought it to 40 kilos. My fourth set stayed the same at 40 kilos, and my 5th set stayed the same at 40 kilos, except we actually did an extra rep. We did 6 reps. We had a 2-minute rest in between, and that brought us to the next set of 10 repetitions, 5 sets of 10. Now, as you can see, I could definitely have filmed this a lot better, but we're just starting off and setting the camera up in a way that's not really interfering with everyone else's workout, trying to be as discreet as possible when it's just me. As you can see, we're still doing that controlled 4-second decentric tempo down, followed by a small pause and then explosive up. Really trying to focus on contracting the back in a way where you can imagine the middle part of your back, you essentially are trying to squeeze it together. Like if someone had their fingers there, you're trying to squeeze their fingers together. Now we hit for our first set there, we hit 10 reps at 30 kilos, and we actually held that weight for the remaining 4 sets, which brought our total volume to 1,500 kilos. So how I worked that out, we did 5 sets of 10 reps at 30 kilos. So you essentially go 50 times 30, it brings you to 1,500 kilos of total volume moved. All right, guys, moving on from the chest supported back row, we're moving on to neutral grip lateral raise. Now, the saying neutral grip essentially just means that your hands are just grabbing the dumbbells, like as if when you pick them up, your thumbs will be facing forward. And as you can see in the video, we want to keep your feet in line with each other. So your toes are basically, if you put a ruler in front of them, they're both in line with each other. Now again, you don't want to be using momentum to lift these weights. You really want to try and keep your chest facing down and your spine neutral, so you're not using like the momentum of your body to lift that weight. We're still using the 4-second tempo as we come down with the weight, and a small pause at the bottom, and then quite a fast or reasonably fast up to be in line with your shoulders, and then coming down. So we started off on 8 kilos in each hand, doing 10 reps. I pushed myself a little bit harder in the second set, got 12 reps at 8 kilos. I think I actually just miscounted it because I was a little bit anxious of filming. Third set, 10 reps, 8 kilos. Fourth set, 10 reps, 8 kilos. My last set, we hit 11 reps for 8 kilos, bringing the total volume per shoulder to 424 kilos. So the total volume moved for both shoulders was 848 kilos. Now we only did 5 sets of roughly 10 reps for that first neutral grip lateral raise, and then we moved right along to what was supposed to be a reverse grip lateral raise over a bench. So essentially you want to set up your bench on a 45-degree angle, and you got to pick quite a light weight actually to do this. I had a slight tweak in the back of my shoulder blade, so I actually found the correct hand position that I was meant to be doing for this almost impossible to do, even with no weight. So I've altered my grip to neutral grip. We started off here, 5 kilos each hand, and we tried to get 10 reps. If I'm completely honest with you, I probably should have gone lighter. I found it really hard to control the tempo going down, and that usually is a good indication it was too heavy. I'm not sure if it's to do with that little bit of a shoulder tweak, the back of my shoulder blade hurting, just preventing me from really holding onto that weight. But nonetheless, we got it done. We did a total of 5 sets, 10 reps per set at 5 kilos. That brought our total volume moved per shoulder to 250 kilos. So total volume moved for that exercise, both shoulders included, 500 kilos. Then we moved right along to our only exercise for biceps that we're doing throughout the year, which is the Preacher bicep curl. Now, I've chosen to do dumbbells throughout this prep just because I'm doing FIFO and moving around quite a lot. I'm going to a few different gyms, and I think you can have some gyms that have the Preacher curl bicep machine, but they're all variably different from each other. So tracking the amount of weight that I'm moving, at different gyms is next to impossible using machines. So we've picked the dumbbells because generically most gyms have the same dumbbell weights if you put them on a scale. So we started on 10 reps. I picked 9 kilos. Again, that tempo on the way down, nice slow 4-second down, a small pause, and then right back up. Now I do feel for anyone wanting to get that peak in their bicep, if you look where your pinky is sitting, if you twist your pinky out on the outside of your body, you get more of a contraction peak on that bicep, as opposed to if your pinky's facing inwards. I think it doesn't get as much as a peak when you do that contraction. Nonetheless, we did 5 working sets of 10 reps. After the first set, we went up 1 kilo, so we're doing 10 kilos per set, bringing our total volume moved per arm to 490 kilos. So all up we did 980 kilos of total volume moved for the Preacher bicep curl. Alright guys, what we're looking at here is my second workout of the year for pull day. Now last time I did this, we started on 30 kilos for 5 reps on the first set, then we moved second set 35 kilos, and the remaining 3 sets were at 40. Now coming forward to the second time we're doing this, we've actually increased to 45 kilos for the first 3 sets, followed by an increase of another 5 kilos, so 50 kilos for the remaining 2 sets. So from that first working set of the first workout, which was 30, we've increased it by 20 kilos, which is pretty dramatic. Not sure if I can keep it up at this pace, but we moved 1,175 kilos in total for those 5 sets of 5. Now remember guys, really try and focus on that decentric tempo going down, being quite nice and slow, and then a short pause and really fast burst up, trying to contract and squeeze as if someone's hand was in between the middle of our back. We had a 2-minute rest on average between each set, and then another 2-minute rest in between starting 5 sets of 10. Last week we started at 30 kilos for our sets of 10 on this back row, and we've actually gone up 10 kilos for the 5 sets of 10 on our second workout, which is pretty good. We moved 2,000 kilos for those 5 sets of 10 here, total volume moved. Now, important for everyone to understand, yes, I've moved up quite significantly in weight compared to the first workout, but we're just starting this off. There's probably going to be quite a fast incline in weight as we start the first few weeks, but I'm sure as we get quite deep into this, it's going to be really challenging to just slap on more weight onto exercises and push through it. We'll probably end up hitting some walls at certain weight points, we might just have to try and push out an extra rep or two to bring the total volume up and keep that periodization up. All right, guys, we're looking at a neutral grip lateral raise again. We picked 8 kilos per arm here. We did 11 reps. We only did 11 reps because I had anxiety and lost count again. We then moved up a kilo on each arm to 9 kilos. We did 10 reps for the remaining 4 sets, bringing total volume moved per arm to 448, bringing total net volume to 896 kilos. We then moved on to a rear reverse grip. Really struggling to do these again. I have a slight pinch in the back of my shoulder and I haven't had enough time to get onto a physio. So do as I say, not as I do, guys. If you do have a niggling injury or anything like that, get it sorted. Don't just push through it like me, but here we are nonetheless. I picked 6 kilos and tried to get 10 reps. Now, even the way that I'm holding this, it's essentially not 100% right here. I'm just doing it and trying to get it done because I was in quite a lot of pain. So the hand position that I've got here was just the hand position that I could do. Nonetheless, we got it done. We should have probably gone down in weight, to be completely honest, now that I'm reflecting back and looking at this. The weight was moving too fast on the Decentric as I was coming down, giving a pretty clear indication that that weight was too heavy. We moved 300 kilos per arm, so 600 total kilos. Really would like to see myself get comfortable at 6 kilos per arm, but we're probably going to have to go back down in the next workout and do the exercise properly. All right, guys, as you can see here, we're going on to our second ever preacher curl. Now, we started on last week at 5 sets of 10 and we picked 10 kilos per arm, and we've moved up 2.5 kilos per arm, bringing the net volume to 625 kilos per arm, a little bit up from last week, which was 490 kilos moved. Now, a little piece of advice: when you are doing this exercise, you do want to have that 45-degree angle on the bench. You want to bring your hand all the way down, 4-second tempo down on the Decentric. Almost have the back of your hand touch and then come up. Now, again, if you tweak your pinky slightly outwards, it kind of gives you more of that contraction peak, as opposed to if your pinky and hand rotated inwards, you'd almost be doing like a hammer curl type position. So the more we rotate our hand outwards, kind of focuses straight onto the head of the bicep.